According to the reported court filing, Martell is asking the judge to consider several different issues at the same time. These reportedly include questions about shared expenses, the current custody arrangement, and whether certain parts of the existing court order have been followed. At this stage, these are requests made by one side of the case. They are not court findings, and the judge has not ruled on them. One reason this filing has received so much attention is because it goes beyond a simple disagreement over scheduling. Reports indicate that it asks the court to make significant changes to the current parenting arrangement. Family court judges generally look at many factors before making any major decision involving children. That can include documents, testimony, prior court orders, and any evidence presented by both parties. A request by itself does not mean it will be granted. Another point being discussed online is the financial disagreement mentioned in the reported filing. Disagreements over shared expenses are not unusual in co-parenting cases. In many situations, each parent may have a different understanding of what should be reimbursed or when payments were due. Those questions are typically resolved through records and documentation rather than public opinion. The filing has also sparked conversation because it reportedly includes concerns about compliance with parts of the existing custody order. As with every issue raised in the motion, these are allegations made by one side. Melody's response, if filed, will likely give the court her position and any supporting evidence she believes is relevant. Until both sides have presented their arguments, the public only has part of the picture. Legal experts often point out that family court cases rarely turn on a single allegation. Instead, judges usually review the entire history of the case, previous court orders, and any new evidence before deciding whether a modification is appropriate. That is especially true when a request involves major changes to custody. As this case moves forward, many people will be watching for the next official filing rather than relying only on social media discussions. Court documents, responses from both legal teams, and any future hearings will provide a clearer understanding of the issues before the judge. Until then, it is important to remember that allegations in a filing are simply one party's claims and should not be treated as established facts. Another reason this situation has attracted so much attention is the reported request for a change in custody. According to reports about the filing, Martell is asking the court to consider a different custody arrangement. That is a major request in any family court case. It does not automatically mean a change will happen, but it does mean the court will likely review the arguments and any evidence presented by both sides before making a decision. Family court cases are usually based on documents, testimony, and the best interests of the children. Judges often look at the history of the case, how previous court orders have been followed, and whether there has been any significant change in circumstances. Because of that, a filing by itself is only the beginning of the legal process. The other parent normally has the opportunity to respond, explain their position, and provide their own supporting information before the court reaches any conclusion. Many people following this case have also noticed how quickly the news spread across social media. Within hours, fans began sharing screenshots, discussing the reported filing, and debating what they believe could happen next. Some viewers feel the reported concerns deserve careful attention, while others believe it is important to wait until both sides have had the opportunity to present their case. Those different opinions have made this one of the most talked about developments involving Martell and Melody in recent months. It is also important to understand that legal filings are written to explain one party's position to the court. That means they naturally focus on the concerns and arguments of the person who filed them. They are not final decisions, and they should not be confused with a judge's ruling. A judge reviews all of the available information before deciding whether any request should be approved, denied, or changed. As this case continues, many people will be watching to see how Melody's legal team responds. In family court matters, it is common for both sides to file documents explaining their position. Those responses may include records, statements, or other information that each side believes supports its arguments. Only after reviewing submissions from both parties can the court begin evaluating the issues raised. Another point worth remembering is that family court cases often take time. Even when a new filing creates a lot of online discussion, the legal process usually moves much more slowly than social media. Hearings must be scheduled, documents reviewed, and both parties given an opportunity to be heard. Because of that, people following the case may not receive immediate answers about what will happen next. For now, the reported filing has added another chapter to a legal dispute that has already lasted several years. Since their divorce, Martell and Melody have continued to face disagreements involving co-parenting and other legal matters. Each new filing brings renewed public attention, but the outcome always depends on what is presented in court rather than what is discussed online. That is why many legal observers encourage people to separate public opinion from the court process. Social media can spread information quickly, but it does not decide legal cases. The responsibility for reviewing the evidence and making a decision belongs to the judge, who will consider the complete record before reaching any conclusion. Cases involving custody often receive a great deal of public attention, especially when the parents are well known. Even so, the court's focus is usually much narrower than the conversations happening online. Judges are generally concerned with the evidence presented in court, the existing legal orders, and what they determine to be in the best interests of the children. Public opinion and social media discussions may shape the conversation outside the courtroom, but they are not the standard used to decide a case. It is also common for people to misunderstand what a legal filing represents. A filing is a request or argument made by one party. It explains what that party wants the court to consider and why. The other side normally has the opportunity to respond, and the judge reviews both positions before making any decision. That is why it is important not to treat the statements in a filing as proven facts before the legal process has run its course. In many family court matters, both sides may disagree about finances, parenting schedules, communication, or the interpretation of previous court orders. These disagreements do not automatically result in major changes. Courts often look for reliable documents, testimony, and other evidence before deciding whether any modification is necessary. As this case moves forward, additional filings or hearings may provide more information about the issues before the court. Until then, much of the public discussion is based on one side's reported requests rather than a final ruling. Waiting for official court developments helps provide a more complete picture of what is actually happening. Whatever the final outcome may be, the legal process is designed to allow both parties to present their positions. Once the court has reviewed all of the available information, it can decide whether any changes are appropriate. Until that happens, it is important to distinguish between allegations, legal arguments, and findings made by the court. Don't miss our next video. Subscribe now and be the first to watch every new upload.